Hello to all of you watching us on YouTube. If you haven't already, please subscribe to The Fast and the Curious. Loads of you are watching every single week, but you haven't pressed that little subscribe button, and we really want you to. You don't want to miss out on our upcoming episodes as the season starts to heat up now, would you?
No, you don't want to miss out on drivers. They are coming on this podcast. They've been on before. Check out our previous episodes if you've missed them. They are coming back on, including, hopefully, a new one, some new prey. You don't want to miss out on team principals. You don't want to miss out on Greg James' terrible impressions. There's a lot you don't want to miss out on. That is all coming soon. It really does help the podcast out if you click subscribe. So please do. You can subscribe by pressing this little button, and producer Will has told me to point. So I guess that means, Betty, that wherever I point, he has to put the button. So I'm going to go.
Point? Where are you going to do it?
Here. Ooh. Press this button and subscribe to The Fast and the Curious.
Cadillac's social media team are going to be absolutely kicking themselves, because if they had just left that announcement for a couple of more days, they could have had Bottas and Checo posing together in the way that Taylor and Travis were posing. And that would have been iconic.
You've just got to, in that circumstance, dust yourself down, get over the disappointment and shake it off.
That was actually terrible. Are you going to be shoehorning all of her lyrics?
No, I'd like to. I did this with Kylie Minogue last year when she waved the checkered flag. But I don't know as many Taylor Swift songs as Kylie, so I don't think I could do that, unfortunately.
Do you think Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez is going to be a love story?
Oh, lovely. Lovely. So you criticise me and then bowl in with one yourself. I enjoyed that.
Welcome back to The Fast and the Curious with me, Betty Glover, and our resident Formula One geek, Christian Hugill. If you're new to this podcast, then hello, welcome. We're often joined by drivers and various other big names, and of course, Greg James will be popping back in between now and the end of the season with his unique take on the world of Formula One, so you won't want to miss that. It has been a very long break though, hasn't it? But everybody, it's race week!
Yay!
Summer's over. It's done, Christian. The sun's gone. Have you had a nice time? Have you been on a yacht like every other I don't know why I said every other F1 driver. You're not an F1 driver.
No, I'm not, alas. No, famously not, though. No, I've not been on a yacht. I have been on a vessel.
A what?
A vessel.
What's that? Like a boat?
Yeah, it's like a boat, but on the PA announcements on the boat, they kept calling it a vessel, which I really enjoyed. I've been on a ferry, actually, Derek.
A ferry.
Yeah, a ferry. I went to...
it's a ferry, Derek. Sorry.
You all right? Yeah. Okay, good. I went to the Outer Hebrides, to the Scottish island of Harris, which Greg James, who you just mentioned, found very funny. I think it's because Harris, without the H, is Cockney rhyming slang, basically British slang for our American listeners, for arse. Right?
How is it?
So, so he found that very funny because, of course, he did. But the Isle of Harris, north of Scotland, on the Scottish Outer Hebrides, the little island, unbelievably beautiful. And I went on a boat. Listen, it's not George Russell on a ferry, but it's what I did. What can I tell you?
Well, it sounds really nice. And you saw some Highland cows as well.
I saw many Highland cows.
Beautiful.
Drank some excellent whiskey. Got some nice walks in. I went on the beach. Went on the beach in very cold weather. Did that thing that mad British people do where we go into the sea when it's really cold. It wasn't warm up there, but that's fine. So, yeah, did that. Yeah, I had a look with my wonderful boyfriend who took me away as a little birthday surprise. So, that was cute.
Very, very cute. Well, we've got a lot to catch up on. Formula One-wise.
On that, we'll do Formula One in a minute. We've still not done the fact that you've got engaged, have we?
That was literally months ago. Like,
I know, but we never actually talked about it.
Now.
No, it's not 6 months.
May, June, July, August, nearly September, 5.
Time. Hang on. Well.
Sorry, can I just say that?
Do it again for the YouTube viewers. Do it again. Show off your bling. There she goes. Oh, lovely.
Yes, it's all very exciting, isn't it? We have got a lot to catch up on, though, don't we? We're talking F1 summer break bingo card, listener questions, and the Dutch Grand Prix, of course, aren't we? But first, we've got to talk about the breaking news. Where else would we start? Massive news came out yesterday, got everybody excited. Some people even shed a tear. Yes, of course. I'm talking about Taylor Swift getting engaged.
I thought you were going somewhere with that, because I thought like people were pleased to have Checo and Valtteri back, but I'm not sure they cried. Well, do we think that overshadowed the news yesterday, the Taylor Swift thing? Everybody I know has been talking about this, the Taylor Swift and what's Mr. Taylor called?
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce. But I'd be lying if I said I cared.
No, to be honest, Christian, I don't really care either. I'm in the same engagement era as Taylor Swift, though. So
basically, the WhatsApp groups I was in yesterday were either Formula One Cadillac or Taylor and Travis. I guess I'm not the only one listening to this who had the same WhatsApp group divide here.
Everybody. And Nicola, that is one of our producers and does a lot of the Fast and Curious social content. Big up, Nicola. Absolutely loves Taylor Swift. So she was in her element because she had
big day for Nicola yesterday.
Swift. Yeah, I hope she's okay, you know.
She
can cope with it all.
Big day for Nicola and Ollie Behrman, of course.
Because he loves Taylor Swift. But do you know, I was thinking about this earlier. Cadillac's social media team are going to be absolutely kicking themselves, because if they had just left that announcement for a couple of more days, they could have had Bottas and Checo posing together in the way that Taylor and Travis were posing, and that would have been iconic.
You've just got to, in that circumstance, dust yourself down, get over the disappointment, and shake it off.
That was actually terrible. Are you going to be shoehorning all of her lyrics?
No, I'd like to. I did this with Kylie Minogue last year when she waved the checkered flag. But I don't know as many Taylor Swift songs as Kylie, so I don't think I could do that, unfortunately.
Well,
I don't think it's in my locker.
No,
anyway, should we talk about Cadillac? We should do some Formula One chat on this Formula One podcast, shouldn't we?
Do you think Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez is going to be a love story?
Oh, lovely! Lovely. So you criticise me and then bowl in with one yourself. I enjoyed that. There's no hate here. No haters going to hate here. I enjoyed that. I did enjoy that. Valtteri Bottas, Sergio Perez returning to the grid next year. Betty, what was your immediate reaction?
I was a bit meh.
Really?
I wasn't buzzing, wasn't upset. Obviously, it's great to Bottas back in particular. I think it's really good. I like what he brings.
Careful, you'll get the Checo fans on.
I haven't finished my sentence yet.
No, they won't care about that. What about Checo? That's as exciting.
I'm getting there. I am also happy for Checo because I think he had a lot of unfinished business, and obviously his time at Red Bull didn't end very well. So I'm happy that he's got another shot at it. I understand where they've done it. I think they've probably done it because they just want to learn from these two really experienced drivers. But I don't know. I'm not buzzing by it. Are you? What do you think?
No, I think am I buzzing by it? No, that's fair. I'm not buzzing. I'm very excited that Formula One's got a new team. I think it's great. I love America, lucky enough to go for work. So I'm a huge fan of the US, and I love that there's more of a US involvement with another US team, with Cadillac. So I am buzzing for the whole thing. I think what we've got to remember is I expect Cadillac next year will be the slowest team. It would be mad if they come into the sport. The next newest team is Haas. They've been around ages. It would be mad if they come up against 10 other teams who've all been in it ages and beat them. They've said that themselves in an interview. Graham Loudon, the team principal, said it. I think it was him that said it. So, therefore, it's a big task being a new F1 team. We've not seen this in the sport for a long time. To me, it's a massive success for Cadillac if they come in and they're not miles behind. If they are even close to the 10th quickest team, they've done a good job. And who do you want to learn from? You couldn't pick two better drivers in terms of experience. They're both won races. They've both started hundreds of Grand Prix. They've both stacked up well against quick teammates, because I've said this on the podcast so many times. Checo did until he didn't, sort of thing. His record at Red Bull at the start was good. He won races. They've worked in these big teams. James Vowles, I think, no, not James Vowles, Jenson Button said that Williams had sort of plugged into Carlos Sainz this year and sort of downloaded all the information. They'll be doing the same, like a computer. They'll be doing the same with Checo and Valtteri. So I think it's an incredibly sensible, smart, logical decision from Cadillac, and I applaud them for it. So I'm not, their involvement in F1 will go long beyond Checo and Valtteri. So there'll be a time when maybe they've got this unbelievably exciting lineup, but for now they need to establish themselves first, and they've got to me, the very best people that can do that. I think it's an outstanding move from Cadillac. I think they've nailed it.
Okay, so you're very positive. Well, I saw this tweet yesterday, which absolutely cracked me up, which said, "We're about to find out which of these second drivers is so second driver that they become the other second driver's second driver."
Yes, but I feel like I'm being very boring here. Yes, it's very funny, but it's not strictly true. It's not strictly true because, they both achieved fantastic things before they got to the final team that they spent their careers in terms of Red Bull with Checo. And then actually, I say that, Valtteri then went to Sauber. But, Valtteri was outstanding at Williams, which is why he was picked to go to Mercedes. Checo was brilliant at Racing Point and a host of other teams. So they've got more in their lockers than just being number two drivers. And actually, look, you hear people go, well, should they still be in Formula One? Look, I actually think Valtteri's final season at Sauber was stronger than his penultimate season at Sauber. I think he showed that he'd got more time there. I don't think he was motivated by the Sauber project anymore. He'd gone, and I think he'd expected to see more progress than he'd expected to. Sort of like Sainz going to Williams. You see the progress there, and Valtteri hadn't seen the progress. They are now making progress a couple of years later, but he didn't see that there. He'd gone through the whole moving from Alfa Romeo into Sauber. It just, that relationship had expired. It was best he still went. Checo, I still stand by that he should have got more out of the car for his experience. Again, I think the relationship had expired. It had reached its time. That doesn't mean he didn't do a very good job. Both of these guys, are they at their ultimate peak? No. Are they still capable of operating at a very high level in the biggest and most competitive form of motorsport in the world? Yes, they are. And that's why I think they're both deserving of their seats. I think it's a great move for Cadillac.
A lot of people on our Insta completely agree with you, but this one's caught my eye. Holly says, Bottas all the way. Checo should get binned and bring back a young driver, which sort of takes us on to something that a lot of people have been saying about why haven't they gone for one experienced driver and one rookie. And I guess when you sort of look at the ages of both of them, Bottas is 36 tomorrow, I think, 36 on Thursday.
Happy birthday, Valtteri.
Happy birthday. Sergio Perez is 35. It's not like they've got a lot of longevity necessarily left in the sport. So then if they were training up someone else, then they might have more consistency. Do you know where I'm getting?
I know exactly what you mean. If I was a team principal and I'm playing fantasy Formula One, I am picking an experienced head. I've said that, Sauber have got a great driver lineup for me. They've got the experienced head in Nico Hülkenberg. They've got the exciting rookie in Gabriel Bortoleto. To me, that is brilliant. You look at similar with Haas, with Ocon and Behrman, similar thing, right? It's a really good idea. Mercedes with Russell and Kimi. Where I don't think it makes sense for Cadillac is they're a brand new team, and this has not been seen in Formula One for a long time. There was a time in Formula One when new teams were popping up. That's not been the case for a long time. The bar to get into Formula One is a lot higher. Maybe one day we will do a bit of an explaining into how it's all got here. Now's not the time and place for that. But it's a bigger job. It's a bigger task to jump up to the level of these 10 other teams. So to me, they're not at the level of a Sauber or a Haas yet in going for experience and rookie speed, because what's a rookie going to do? The likelihood is they're going to be a long way back, or at least some way back from the 10th quickest team on the grid. So a rookie can't really be judged that well. All right, they'd be able to be judged against whichever one of Checo or Bottas you pick. But in terms of the team just needing to get to that base foundation of being success is at the back of the pack and not being cut adrift for this team, right? In the first year, maybe even two. They will get to that point quicker by getting as much experience feedback as they can in terms of how the car handles, what they need to do in terms of upgrades, what the team needs to do in terms of structure, how it needs to operate. They will get more of that for more experience. Why have 50% of that and a kid who doesn't know anything? There will come a time in Cadillac's history where they will be able to go, let's now bring in a quick kid. To me, they know their limitations. It's not there yet. You might as well eke every drop of experience you can. And they are fortunate that two drivers who, for me, have still got it, still very capable of being in Formula One, still deserving of Formula One seats, are available and willing to join the project. I think they've nailed it.
Yeah, and I guess also it probably wouldn't be fair to bring in a rookie driver and put them in that situation.
Well, the car is going to be difficult to drive. It's a new rule set, so everybody's learning, especially a new team. If a car's difficult to drive, you need people with experience to get to grips with it. Because what do rookies do? What have we seen with rookies in Formula One? They crash. This team cannot afford that. They need as much time on the track as possible. They need to eke every minute they can out of pre-season testing, out of Friday practice sessions. They need to keep the costs down in their early seasons. They don't need a rookie doing that. Maybe in a couple of years' time, maybe in 3 years' time. They're both on multi-year deals. I'd expect, probably 2 years or so. Maybe after this, possibly. But I don't see any benefit in bringing bringing in a rookie now. Sorry, I forget the name of the listener who sent the question. Did they also say why not bring in an American, or have I made that up?
You've made that up. That was going to be my next question, though.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I'll shut up. Why don't you ask the next question, and we'll all pretend like we don't know what it is. So you ask the question.
The other thing that a lot of people are
What's
questioning...
that, Betty?
Is it's obviously an American team, like you said.
It is, yes.
So why haven't they opted for an American driver?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Very good one. Quite simply, all the things I've said before, to me, they need to establish themselves as a competitive Formula One team rather than pointlessly flying the flag for Americans before they're ready. I would be staggered if one day in the not too distant future we don't see an American driver. Nobody fits that bill, unfortunately. The last American Formula One driver was Logan Sargent. Unfortunately for Logan, it didn't work for him in Formula One. The other American Formula One driver options don't quite fit that yet. We're talking Crawford in Formula 2. He'd be a rookie. I actually think I'd be very surprised if he doesn't make it to Formula One. I think he's looking incredibly promising. So maybe in 2 or 3 years' time, not yet. And then there's also Colton Herta, who is constantly linked with Formula One, is doing brilliantly in IndyCar, is only 25. But again, he would still be a rookie, right? He's doing very well. Again, I'm not saying he's not cut out for Formula One at all. People like Will Buxton, who know far more about the 2 Series than me in terms of the parallels between the 2 Series, F1 and IndyCar, say he's up to it. But he still falls under that rookie tag. He'd still have the same problems that a Crawford would. All right, he's got a bit more racing experience behind him. 2 possibilities for the future. Who knows? Not quite yet. Also, there's the super license system, which also adds complications into it, which I won't explain now, but many people listening will know. So, yeah, I would think they would want an American at some point, because why not? An American team wants to back American drivers, but firstly, they just need to be competitive as a Formula One team, and they've shown to me that they're serious operators by not just throwing in an American for the sake of throwing in an American, but by actually saying, well, let's just get competitive first. But on that, you've actually got 2 drivers very, very popular in America.
Bottas is very popular, isn't he?
Well, Americans love a personality, which Valtteri's shown on social media. He's got hugely clever for a new team with his social media presence. When I go to the likes of Austin, in the Americas, Checo Perez, of course, closer to the Mexican border, is huge in terms of popularity. So they've actually, they've got, all right, they haven't got Americans, but they've got 2 people who are very popular with Americans, and people will want them to do well. 2 people with fan bases. So great move all round. Well done, Cadillac. I think you've nailed that.
Can you remember, it was at the start of, not this season, but the season before, we spoke to Checo, didn't we? And obviously he was very hopeful. He was thinking that maybe that season was going to go a lot better and whatever. But he was just such a nice person to speak to. He was full of energy. He was full of positivity. He was talking to us about his favourite food. And I was thinking about that interview. And I just thought, I'm so excited for Checo to be part of a new team now with a fresh start. And without that sort of Red Bull pressure that was clearly just getting him down.
I've had a lot of stick online for saying that I think it was the right decision for Checo not to carry on in that seat. I stand by that. I think it was right for Red Bull. I think they picked the wrong replacement, but I think it was... And there's bigger problems there, but I still think it was right for Red Bull. I still think it was right for Checo. What the people who've sent me stick for that have not given me credit for is me. I've been really consistent saying, but I think he's really still a good Formula One driver and still deserves a place on the grid. If I think both Bottas and Perez had talks with Alpine. There's been a lot of people saying that both could have gone. Yeah, I think there's been some misquoting there of a brilliant F1 journalist from ESPN, who are obviously American, Nate Saunders, when people have been saying that Nate had said both could have gone to Alpine. I don't believe that to be the case. I don't think Nate believes that to be the case. I think they have had talks, but a Perez for a team like Alpine, who've struggled a bit this season, would have been a great move. So, no, I think Checo deserves his place on the grid, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in a lower pressure environment than that Red Bull second seat. And I just think it's a clever move for them to get Checo in. I think he's a race winner. He's driven outstandingly. He's been a consistent peddler over many years, so he deserves his place in the sport, I think.
Big time. And there's a lot of people that have got in touch with us on our Instagram, Fast Curious Pod, that are singing from the same hymn sheet as you, Christian. Hayden says, epic, glad they're coming back. Sarah says, oh my God, I'm so for it. Perfect, stable, strong, awesome drivers. Andrew says, McLaren say they have 2 number 1 drivers. Will Cadillac say they have 2 number 2 drivers?
Oh, it's harsh. It's harsh, as I've said, but funny.
Innie says, redemption time for Checo. Agreed, Innie. Tom says, I hope they get a qualified reserve driver that's young, so in a couple of years they can come in, which is sort of what you were alluding to. Maybe in a few years they might be in a place to bring in a younger rookie driver, but not right now. Grace says, I love that they're back. Bottas was so underrated, especially in his Merc years. Ian says, 2 experienced front-running, race-winning drivers is exactly what a new team needs. And Natalia says, most lovable duo of 2026.
Yeah, and just one thing on one of those comments. Some people have said, well, hang on a minute, I thought one of the arguments for a new team coming into Formula One was that they're supposed to provide young drivers an opportunity. Yeah, well, they will. This is a Formula One team that wants to be in the sport for decades, not for years. So just because they're not starting with a rookie, it will still open up a seat for young drivers looking into the future when Checo and Valtteri are both done. So, yeah, it still is an extra 2 seats in Formula One. And I also think it's one of the joys of the series that we do have the exciting rookies balanced with the experienced ones. I think it's brilliant. And I think it's another thing, Betty, we speak about our love of football or soccer and the Premier League and that sort of thing. You love seeing how the kids come up against older players. Yeah. It's something really good. And you've got that in the sport. So, no, I think it's a good move. Although I did get stick yesterday.
Oh, go on.
I might have been a bit naughty on the Cadillac social media post.
Oh, yeah, I saw this. You love it. You love it.
I do like to have a laugh. Apparently, you can't have a laugh anymore. If you do have a laugh, it's called rage baiting.
Sarcasm, Christian, is quite hard, I think, for some people to spot on the internet, though.
Anyone who's still with the podcast at this point knows my thoughts on this lineup. Excellent. But I commented underneath. It was at one point the most liked reply on the Cadillac announcement post. I have caused a bit of chaos here. That's not why I did it. I just thought it was funny. I just thought I'd have a laugh. But apparently, again, that's now rage baiting is a term I've learned. I said I'd have gone for some more experience, personally. The joke being here that they are the most experienced drivers you could possibly get without basically having Fernando Alonso and Kimi Raikkonen. Right? Okay. Shall I read out some of the responses? How much more experience do you want? They probably have more years driving than you have being alive. Again, yeah, that's sort of
wrong. Actually, he's in his mid-30s.
Are you having a laugh? Like who? That's available? No, I am literally having a laugh. Yeah, no, that is a point. One of the comments that I did from Roxy just said, "Can we get can we maybe do an F1 Explained episode on sarcasm?" Which I particularly enjoyed. Thank you. Checo is a multi-race winner who's placed second in the World Drivers' Championship. Bottas was one of the rivals to give Lewis a run for his money. You're new to F1. We get it. It's okay. Welcome to F1. It'll be great. And I'm not that new to it.
That was my favourite.
Yeah. But my favourite and has to go to Graham, who goes, "Who do you want to hire? Kimi? Mika Hakkinen from Sabbatical? This is about as experienced as you get without getting old drivers," and then tags the account's bad F1 opinions before almost immediately responding with, "Is this sarcasm? Damn, I've made a fool of myself there." Yes, guys. It was a joke.
Do you know what? Fair play, though, that he realised it and he wrote the comment.
Oh, love it.
I love that. I love that.
Me and Graham would get on. We've all made mistakes. We've all gone, it turns out. Apparently, also, a lot of people saying sarcasm's a very British thing, which I'm not necessarily sure I realise.
Americans don't really understand sarcasm, apparently. So.
Is that true? If you're American, we know we have lots of listeners and viewers in America. Put in the comments, do you understand sarcasm? I mean, some obviously did. But yeah, no, just to clarify, I approve of the Cadillac lineup. And I wish the two young rookies all the very best in their roles.
Who do you think is going to be better, though? Bottas or Checo, out of interest? Just throwing that one out there.
Not a clue.
Yeah, I honestly,
honestly,
I was thinking this.
I can't sit here and apply any logic to either of it. I suppose... I couldn't give you an answer. I don't know. Also, I think... Again, you'll probably see them quite close because I think they'll be looking to get the most out of the car. So I honestly, that'll be fascinating to watch. But yeah, good story. Well, I'm excited to see Cadillac. You're very welcome, Cadillac. For those new to F1 like myself, we're all looking forward to Cadillac.
Yeah. Earlier, you said that you hadn't been on a yacht, but plenty of the drivers have this summer. Have you seen it? Have you seen all of the social media?
I'll be honest. Here's where it is fair to criticise me. I'm not new to watching F1, as regular listeners know. I watched my first race in 1998. What I don't follow is I don't really go on social. Last few weeks not been on social media anywhere near as much, or when I have, I've not been looking at Formula One drivers. I've been posting pictures of cows. So I have seen. I can tell you almost nothing about what they've been up to over the summer because largely, Betty, I don't care, but I'm pleased that others do. Right?
A lot of people do care.
You educating me on this?
There are a lot of articles out there titled "F1 Summer Break: What the Drivers Are Up to."
I don't doubt that. Go on, then. What have they been up to?
Well, George has been on a yacht. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Every opportunity he gets, he's on a bloody yacht in a linen shirt. Do something else, George. My favourite was Oscar. He had a barbecue with his McLaren team. They all stood there in the glasses.
I did see a lovely picture of Oscar and Lily.
Oh, yeah, they were on holiday.
Lily being Oscar's girlfriend. Lily listens to this podcast and always says hello to me off a race weekend. She is just one of my favourite people in Formula One. They're just delightful.
She's very cool.
They're very wholesome and lovely. So I hope they had a lovely barbecue.
Pierre Gasly launched a drink, apparently.
Did he?
Some sort of sparkling drink. I don't know what it is. Someone in the comments will let us know, but...
If Pierre Gasly has launched a sparkling drink and not called it Gassy Gasly or something like that...
Or Gasly.
Gasly? I'll be furious. Do we know what the drink is?
I just saw sparkling drink. I didn't really look into it.
Somebody also, I did see over the summer, tried... Charles Leclerc's ice cream and said it was rubbish, which is really
I've been hunting that down for ages and I haven't managed to come across it. Right, so...
Producer Will's just said it's called Mission, and I've just seen the same. It's a natural energy drink and performance tea company with 100% zero sugar, zero sweetener, energy drinks and hot and cold brew teas. Well, listen, guys, if you'd like to sponsor the podcast, we will happily... he will happily plug it. Oh, apparently the company's raised £2 million with backing from Pierre Gasly, and it's called Mission. There, we will never mention that drink on the podcast again unless they want to sponsor it.
He should have called it Gasly, though. Are you having your fruit Gasly? Are you enjoying it?
Your Gasly tea, yeah.
Anyway,
good. Well, I wish them well.
Lando Norris was at the Esports World Cup. I missed him by a few days. What are the bloody chances?
That's a shame. You could have had a little catch-up.
Could have had a catch-up.
Well, he loves his esports. That one's not a surprise, obviously. I mean, he's got his esports company. What is it? quantum, not
uh,
Qantas. That's off of planes.
That's a plane.
Oh,
Quantum.
what's it called? Producer Will, you'll know this. You're young. What's it called? Oh, Will doesn't know either. For God's sake.
Right,
hold on. This is
embarrassing. What is it? What is it called?
It's quant something, I'm sure, Lando. There's going to be people listening to this. Quadrant! Well done, Will. Quadrant. People listening would have been screaming that. Quadrant.
God.
Good. Yeah, quadrant.
My favourite.
Qantas.
Qantas Airways.
Lando Norris flies people to Australia. Quadrant. Yeah, good.
Lewis and Roscoe were on the cover of Vogue or Dogue.
Now, I actually saw a bit of this. I saw Lewis doing quotes about how he takes Roscoe to the cinema, which I love, and he gets fascinated by Roscoe watching the screen. I love it when dogs watch the telly.
Yeah,
that's
amazing.
Brilliant. Yeah, I love that.
I don't know, it was great. So it's really cool. The picture was amazing. I just loved that. I feel like Lewis needs that in his life as well. Needs a cute little photo shoot with his dog. We did have an idea though. You could literally have an F1 summer break bingo card, couldn't you? Because over the years, we've seen on social media that the F1 summer break is not complete without various different things, and you could tick them off very quickly. A trip to Ibiza, being one of them. Yachts. Sunset on yachts.
Okay. So, the ones I would add to this, one of them going to some sort of DJ set. That always happens. Some famous DJ. Oh, look, it's
Martin Garrix.
With Martin Garrix. I was about to say Garrix. Got Garrix written all over it.
Girlfriends on yachts.
Girlfriends on yachts is a good one.
Dogs on yachts.
Dogs on yachts for the dog owning community. What was the other one I was going to say? Talk amongst yourselves a minute. There was another one I was going to say.
Cycling. One of them always goes on a really long, not needed cycle ride.
They don't like them doing that anymore. Genuinely, this is actual insight. George Russell used to cycle around Richmond Park, not far from where I live, and they've stopped them doing that because kept falling off. Like, I think Alonso and Stroll both had cycling incidents. They genuinely don't like them cycling anymore because dangerous.
Why would you fall off at Richmond Park? It's just flat.
It shows you how little you know about Richmond Park.
Oh, is it hilly?
Famously not flat. No,
is it not?
No,
I just know it's got deer.
It has got deer, yes, but it's not hilly. It is hilly. Anyway, but you can still fall off a bike on a flat bit of road. My boyfriend fell off his bike on a flat bit of road because he was clouted off by someone else and he broke his finger.
Oh, well, broke his finger.
It's fine now.
Go on, anything else? Are you adding to this bingo card?
I feel like you always see them. Right, that was it. You always see them doing some sort of esports or gaming.
Yeah.
We've ticked that sort of with Lando. Often it's Max or Lando or Charles back in the day. He doesn't seem to stream as much now, but he used to. And then the other one, you always see them doing some sort of driving that isn't their normal driving. And we've had this. I think we spoke when one of the times George Russell was on the podcast. It was like Greg asked him, "How did you switch off?" And George was like, "I went ice driving." And it's like, of course you did. You just have to drive something, whether it's a shopping trolley or a golf cart. They just want to drive something. So I think that's what it would be. Yeah, anyway.
And then on their Instagram, they always have a caption and the battery emoji. Every time.
Because charging battery. And listen, if you've got any suggestions for what you could put on a winter or summer break bingo card, drop it in the comments, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe we'll play it properly for the winter break.
Yeah, we could do that as a thing, couldn't we? Because they're all interchangeable because they all go somewhere hot in the winter anyway, don't they?
Yeah, still a yacht.
Yeah.
And speaking of Lewis and Roscoe, we're going to talk all about him after the break. We're also going to hear from Leah Block and preview Zandvoort. We'll see you in a second. If you've been following the Fast and the Curious for a while, you might remember us talking about the F1 exhibition when it was in London last season. Well, they've now taken it on the road, everybody, and this time it's in Amsterdam. And to be quite honest, Christian, I'm surprised you're actually still here, sat at your desk, and you're not on your way over to Amsterdam, because you absolutely loved it when it was in the UK, didn't you?
I really loved it. My favourite thing they did is they had like a grid and they had the drivers sat in the positions that they're sat in on the car, like hovering. And it made you realise just how low to the floor they were. They also had some, you know me, I love a classic livery. They had some fantastic old liveries and old cars as well. So it's one of those places I could have happily have just spent all day.
And really, it is for everybody, whether you're a sort of long lover of F1 like Christian, or whether you're a slightly newer fan to the sport, you would absolutely love it. And also, you often see things being described as sort of immersive, don't you? Everyone says it's immersive. And then it sort of turns out to be nothing special. But the F1 exhibition makes you feel like you are inside an F1 geek's brain. Like your brain.
It's how my brain looks, yeah.
Maybe not everyone would want to be in your brain necessarily, but it is well cool.
Ruth?
It is so cool. You can basically see the past, the present, and the future of F1 all in one place. And the cars are so close.
It's astonishing, it really is. And what's great about the F1 exhibition is they make it bespoke to the places they take it. So in London, they had a simulator set up to drive around Silverstone. In Amsterdam, you can try and do a fastest lap around Zandvoort, which is such a cool track.
That's cool.
And then there's a whole room dedicated to Dutch racing history. I mean, and that's, such a history in F1. So there's the Dutch drive room, which looks at the evolution of Zandvoort from the first Grand Prix there in the 50s all the way through to the return of the Dutch Grand Prix in 2021. They've got a special lineup of cars and memorabilia on display, including the multiple race-winning Ferrari F10, which Fernando Alonso and Felipe Massa drove in 2010. What a title battle 2010 was, by the way. And Max Verstappen's 2021 championship-winning RB16B. Unbelievable. Like, it's such a cool lineup of stuff.
You definitely can't have the F1 exhibition in Amsterdam without featuring Max. Could you?
What a great idea for a little trip, by the way, because Amsterdam's a gorgeous city. Absolutely. That's a great trip.
So it is running until the 7th of September 2025. So if you're heading to the Dutch Grand Prix and fancy adding even more F1 to the trip, or you happen to live nearby, we've checked the stats and we know that some of you listening are in fact Dutch. So, get yourselves over there.
Hello, Dutch people. Hello.
The F1 exhibition is really close to Amsterdam Central Station as well. So it's really easy to get to on public transport. Basically, there's no excuses. Just head to f1exhibition.com/Amsterdam and get your tickets. I am very glad that Lewis Hamilton had a nice break, because I think out of all of the drivers, he was probably the one that needed it the most. I think it's fair to say. He went into the summer break having said at the Hungarian Grand Prix that he was just useless and drove terribly. And we talked about this a little bit at the time. You spoke about it a lot, didn't you? It's so horrible to see drivers talking about themselves like that. It's horrible to see Lewis in that mindset. What do you think's not been working for him at Ferrari?
Well, I think there's loads of things that haven't worked. I think I'm not sure this era of car particularly suits Lewis Hamilton anyway. It's not been his strongest era, this particular rule set. Not dissimilar to Daniel Ricciardo with liking the sort of leaning on the car, the late braking. It's been hard. If you don't get on with a car, it's been much harder to get to grips with the car, if that makes sense, as opposed to drivers in the past who've just been able to sort of adapt. So I think that's a big thing. Maybe he's expected, or he expected the sort of process of joining and forming as one with the team to be smoother than it has been. That's been tricky. That's spilled out on the team radio with his race engineer. Maybe he admitted he underestimated how hard it would be to go a whole season with Mercedes, knowing he was coming to the end. And maybe, therefore, he's found actually he thought it'd be this new era where it hasn't been. Ferrari haven't been as competitive as they thought they would be. So I think he probably thought, it's going to be this clean break. And actually, it's just not been. But the thing is, it's not right. It's still not been horrific for me. And this is where I find it all a bit odd.
Yeah, give us some positives.
I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. Because I just think it's a bit weird, right? Because it's not been terrible. He's not been on Charles' pace, but he's not been being battered by Charles left, right and centre. There's been green shoots of recovery. I've said this on previous episodes. And and next year is a reset because Charles has got years of experience with this car, and this is a car that's been evolution rather than revolution. Lewis is having to come into this new team. We've seen with Sainz that's tricky, particularly at the end of a rule set where Albon's got years of experience with this car against Sainz. It was always going to be tricky. So I don't know whether Lewis thought, oh, it was going to be easier than it actually is, and therefore he's having to struggle with it. But controversially, for those on the Cadillac post, I've seen I've seen every race of Lewis Hamilton's Formula One career. What we're seeing is not necessarily new, right? He has been in dark mental places in the sport before. We've seen this self-destructive Lewis when it's not going well. There was certainly an era at McLaren where we saw that when he was up against Jenson Button, and it was part of the reason he needed that reset by going to Mercedes. What I think we need from Lewis is sort of what we've said we need with Lando. Lando was at a point where he was over-exaggerating the lows. And he seems to have really got into a good habit, Lando, of when there's a setback, going, okay, it's fine, we move on. And we've seen a much stronger Lando Norris because of that. I think we need to see with Lewis more, when it's not gone his way, he needs to stop being so hard on himself and just go, okay, I've signed a multi-year contract. Next year, we've got a more even keel with a brand new car in a brand new rule set. I'll have had the winter to put my input in it. Frankly, it doesn't necessarily matter too much if I can't do it as well this year, because it's not all about this year. And what I also would like to see less of is the bizarre media interviews. He comes out with these very cryptic... Well, there's lots I can't tell you. There's lots going on behind the scenes. I only wish you could see a fraction of what's going on. It's just a bit weird because that's not helping anyone. It's not helping his team. It's not helping the morale in the team. It's not helping Fred. If you've got these concerns, you either say to the media what's going on or don't, and keep professional and go, listen, we are working together as a team. It just doesn't help anyone. So I hope he's sort of calmed down a bit over the break, because I don't think this self-destructive Lewis helps, and I don't think the sort of cryptic Lewis helps. Does that make sense, Betty?
It does. Is it self-destructive, or is it just somebody that has been at the very top of their game, is incredibly competitive, is a professional sports person who knows they're not doing what they can do, and it's just frustration?
Fine, but I would argue there's a time and place to express that frustration, and going out into the media and going, almost daring at one stage Ferrari to replace him. Like, oh, they need to change the driver. Or, oh, I'm useless. Yeah. It's not helpful. It just doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help Ferrari. It doesn't help the mood around Ferrari. He's supposed to be this galvanising force. He's spoken so much about wanting to do what Vettel and Alonso didn't do and win a championship with Ferrari and change things. Well, none of that helps. So do one or the other. You know, if you're going to be this force for good, Lewis, that's got to be everywhere. As I said, we've seen this before. This has happened before. He's at his best when he's feels happy in the team, and I'm slightly surprised that we're seeing the self-destructive Lewis. So he needs to air his frustrations in private. He needs, because it's not going to help morale if he comes out in the press and starts criticising himself, implying that there's stuff going on in the team, but out saying what it was. It just creates chatter. It just creates speculation. I don't actually believe it's the end of the world if Lewis carries on like this for the remainder of the season on track, where he's sometimes a bit close to Charles, sometimes a bit far off, because we're not seeing Lewis at peak. But I still think, not dissimilar to what I was saying with Bottas and Perez, I think it is more than possible that we see a Lewis Hamilton in 2026 that is capable of battling for a championship and battling for wins. I don't think we're going to see a Lewis Hamilton that's 100% at his peak, but look at what Alonso's doing at older, or has done as well, at an older age than Lewis. I just think he's coming into a car that's not entirely happy, to a team that's probably gone in the wrong direction in terms of development, that's disappointed with where it is in terms of fighting for a world championship, with a driver next to him who's world-class and one of the best in the sport, who's got years of experience driving this car. The odds are stacked against you, Lewis. So get to the end of the season, be cool, and reset. And in the meantime, try not to go out and criticise the team or criticise yourself too much. It's easier said than done, but I just don't think it helps.
I think also it's worth remembering that these drivers have just come out from a very pressurised situation. They're knackered, they're dehydrated, straight away, microphone in their face. You don't have time to think about what you want to say. So it's just raw emotion, isn't it? So it is that. It's a shame for Lewis, isn't it? Because he's had one season at Mercedes where it was like, well, everyone knows that I'm going to be going to Ferrari. So this is just one of those seasons. It's going to be difficult. And now he's got this season at Ferrari, first season at Ferrari. And it's like, well, it's going to be difficult because it's his first season at Ferrari. But I guess if you're moving teams and making these decisions, you're going to come up. It's going to be difficult. Do you think we're going to see him win a Grand Prix again?
Yeah, I do actually. I think we will. I certainly think we can. I don't think it'll be this season. If Ferrari go into a weekend with a car that can compete, Charles will probably get the best of it. This season showed it's really only Silverstone has Lewis been convincingly the best Ferrari driver. But to go back to what I said before, it's a bit of a reset next year. It's a completely new car under a completely new rule set. Charles won't have this advantage Lewis has got. There'll have been a winter of Lewis giving his feedback as well. And if Lewis can get through this season without completely self-destructing his own confidence, or losing his confidence, should I say, then actually, yeah, I think if Ferrari next year have a car that's capable of winning Grand Prix, yeah, absolutely we could see Lewis Hamilton winning at Ferrari. I just think it's almost damage limitation for him for the rest of this season. Don't worry too much if you feel you are being beaten by Charles, but it's easier said than done because these are immensely competitive people who don't like being beaten, right? So I think a more positive Lewis Hamilton would benefit everyone, and if that means sometimes just staying calmer and quieter rather than unleashing this emotion in interviews, I think that would probably help everyone around him.
It must be so difficult, sort of just trying to do your job and everyone around you just talking about your age as well, being like, well, he is 40, so maybe that's why it's not quite working out. It must just be so frustrating. Because everyone ages differently as well. You could be 40 and really fit and still at the peak of your career. And
yeah, but I don't have any sympathy for the age thing because I'm sorry, mate, you're in top-level competitive sport, and no matter which sport that is, male or female sports, ball sports to whatever, there are very few sports where when athletes, drivers get to their late or their mid-30s, the age question comes up. You know that as a sports person from before you go into the sport. So, yeah, sorry, Lewis, you're just going to have to deal with that. People are going to question your age. I'm sorry. Fernando's had it. But, you know, James Milner has it in the Premier League. You know, NFL players that have been around for years have it. That's not unique. Michael Schumacher had it when he came back to F1. You're going to have to deal with that. You know what you're signing up for. If you don't want that, don't be in the sport anymore because you're going to get that.
Tom Brady retired when he was 44.
Yeah. Tom Brady, perfect example, NFL. So,
yeah. Right, shall we do a little bit of a race weekend preview, Christian?
I think we should. Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
14 races down, 10 to go. It really does feel like the pressure is starting to sort of ramp up now. This is the business end of the Formula One season, right?
Yeah, massively. And it's also the first time in quite a few years where we're going into this last chunk of the season with a full-on title battle on our hands, which is exciting. And a massive talking point now, obviously, between now and the end of the season is going to be that title battle.
Obviously.
And you're right, it's pressure cooker time because we are now fully in the running. You know, we are fully in. All of a sudden, as you said at the start of the episode, Betty, summer feels like it's ebbing away. It's getting cooler. We're into the final 10 races. Christmas is on the horizon because Formula One now goes right through to Christmas and it is title challenge. So that's going to be the massive dominating storyline. We've got a title battle and it is between Piastri and Norris.
Love it. So Piastri has this 9-point lead over Norris. It really doesn't feel like a huge amount separates them. And it does feel like they flip-flop. Whoever's going to win whatever Grand Prix, it sort of goes one, then the other, then the other. Speed, not a lot really separates them. Hunger to win, I don't think a lot separates them. Those 9 points, it's just going to come down to those small little details, isn't it?
Yeah, I tend to think at this point in their career, so I'm not talking about potential, I'm talking about where we find ourselves today. I tend to think Lando Norris might have a slight, minute speed advantage.
Yeah.
But I think that Oscar Piastri probably has a consistency advantage. There's a bit more of peaks and troughs with Lando. So, and I've said so many times that if we look at Oscar's finishing positions this season, he has only been outside the top 3 twice. His mistake in Australia, where he ended up in the gravel and came 9th, and in Canada, where McLaren weren't competitive and he came 4th. And Lando very similar. He came 4th in Saudi, and of course he made that mistake by hitting Oscar in Canada and came he classified 18th, but he actually didn't finish the race. Whatever. So that consistency is going to be huge. Too many times earlier in the season, Lando made those mistakes in qualifying and therefore wasn't able to creep up as high as he would have done. And Oscar took race wins because Lando was having to recover. Lando definitely got better with qualifying in the first half of the season. You're right in what you say, Betty. There is so little between them. And that's why I believe, and I'm not being a hype man for F1 here, I genuinely believe this will go down to the wire. I think this will go down to Abu Dhabi. I think this will be right to the wire.
Oh, love it. It hasn't really been that we haven't seen a lot of like fighting between them, the two of them. It's been pretty respectful, hasn't it, so far?
But they genuinely get on well. They genuinely like each other. They genuinely respect each other. I don't believe they're mates. I don't believe they're barbecuing with each other in the summer. But there is huge mutual respect there. There is huge respect for the team culture that has been created so impressively by McLaren over the recent years. So they are two incredibly mature young men who have gone about battling for the title in an incredibly impressive way. They are a credit to McLaren. They are a credit to themselves. That said, in this second half of the season, it will ramp up even further. So will we see a big flashpoint? Will we see a massive crash? History tells us, yes, we will. Every time teammates have been in this sort of battle, we've seen something like this before. But evidence available of these two fighting with each other says actually might not happen, because they do tend to have a maturity that maybe we've not seen from other drivers. They do tend to have a level-headedness that maybe we've not seen from other drivers battling together as teammates. So it'll be fascinating. But whether there's that big flashpoint or not, whether there's a row, whether there's a big crash, I don't think it matters too much. We're still going to get, to me, a title battle that goes to the end of the season.
It's going to be so interesting to see what happens, isn't it? And what it comes down to. Like, is it going to come down to mentality? Who's the strongest mentally? Is it going to come down to who can just hold their nerve and make not make as many mistakes as the other person? Like, how's it going to work? It is going to be fascinating. Also talking about teammates, we don't really know what the latest situation is with George Russell and Kimi Antonelli, do we? In terms of contracts. I feel like this is going to be spoken about a lot this weekend because there's been no public confirmation of whether their contracts have been extended yet, as far as I'm aware, from when we're recording.
No, at the time of us recording, there's not been. I'd be staggered if we've got the Italian Grand Prix coming up and it's Kimi's home race. Max is staying at Red Bull. For me, this is a formality. They will be confirmed soon. I just can't see whether it's Dutch Grand Prix weekend or whether it's Italy. I'd be if that's not happened by post Italy, at the very least, something fishy's going on. But yeah, for me, that's a formality.
Do you think it's affected them at all? It would affect me. But come on, guys, what do you want me or do you not?
No, not really, because I think that they both get. Kimi, for a start, won't think he's owed that seat because of he's a rookie. George does probably understand they've got to look at Max because he's Max. George is having his arguably strongest season in Formula One ever.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think it's affected them too much.
I think if anything, it's given George Russell that extra motivation. It's given him that hunger to do better, and it's worked clearly. What can we expect from Zandvoort?
Well, Zandvoort is an old school circuit. I was there last year, and it struck me as when I was walking the track how up and down it is, how bumpy it is. It's like a roller coaster. We saw it with Logan Sargent last year when he put the tiniest wheel wrong and ended up crashing hard. It's a circuit where mistakes are punished brutally. It's a hard circuit to get to grips with. The drivers say it's like a roller coaster because of the way it goes up and down, because it's turn after turn after turn after turn. So even the tiniest bit wrong, you tend to have quite a violent crash. It will throw you off the track. So it will be a real test for the rookies. It will be a real test for anyone struggling with their car. That said, last year we did have overtaking opportunities, despite it being so narrow. There was plenty of overtaking that went on last year. So I wouldn't suggest that it's going to be ones where a circuit where people are stuck behind. I think you can get past, similar to how you can get past sort of going down into turn 1 into Hungary. And last year, Lando was very good. You know, we came back from the summer break last year, and Lando was in a different title battle where it was like, well, can he take it to Max? And then he came out and beat Max at his home Grand Prix. The noise in Zandvoort is unbelievable. It is like a sort of European festival. If anyone's ever been to like a European festival where it's that bit more raucous and loud, it is by the beach. So it is like you're at this sort of summertime European festival. You've got a sea of orange, so it's an intimidating atmosphere to go to. It's like for people like Lando and Oscar, you'll feel like you're at an away match. That'll be less intense this year because obviously Max probably isn't in the title battle. But Lando came out last year and everyone was like, well, can he do it? And then put in one of his best F1 weekends ever and won the Grand Prix on Max's home turf. So it's a strong Norris track based on last year, is what you'd say.
Is this the one with the bikes?
Yes, this is one with bikes. Yes,
yeah,
they love a bike. Yeah, they love a bike in the Netherlands, so everybody cycles in. They absolutely love a bike. And then you see these shots of like the crowd with like 77,000 bikes parked outside. It's like, how the hell do you find your bike?
How do you not lose your bike? And where do you put your helmet? Come on, like, what's happening here? I want to know. I want to know the intricate details. Also, Will, our producer, he likes to sort of offer us a little tidbit, doesn't he? Every now and then.
His surname is Tyrrell, so we've got this Tyrrell's Tidbits, isn't it? I like this feature.
Gonna give it a jingle? Oh God, I'm laughing.
I don't know. It's not going to be McLaren news, is it? Because that's sort of like the dizzy heights of jingles on this podcast. Okay, I'll come up with a jingle. Leave that. We'll do that in the future. I don't want to rush into this. I'll come up with a jingle.
Think about it. So Will has added in saying, turn 1 is called. How do I say this? Tarzan Bocht. Tarzan Corner. There's no clarity about its exact origin, but the famous suggestion is basically that a garden owner who was called Tarzan by fellow locals owned this bit of land or whatever. He didn't agree with the plans to build the circuit back in the day, and so he refused to give up his plot of land unless the corner was named after him.
Good stubbornness that from Tarzan.
Yeah, I quite like that.
Credit to the lad. Yeah, good for him.
Also, like, at least he's getting something out of it. Do you know what I mean? If you're losing your little garden plot, then at least get the corner. It made me feel quite sad, though. But good intel.
Yeah, no, lovely. Why did it make you feel sad? What, that he lost his plot of land?
Yeah, poor Tarzan.
Yeah, you can do an allotment anyway, can't you? Anyway, well, I tell you what also is on this weekend is F1 Academy, which is back, which is great. More racing to watch. Now, we talk about title running. We've really got that at F1 Academy with Dorian Pan leading the championship. 3 more races left. Vegas, Singapore, and first Zandvoort. Now, Williams driver Lia Block is in her second season racing in F1 Academy with Williams. We had a chat to her shortly after the last F1 Academy race, which was back in Canada. Leah Block, welcome back to the Fast and the Curious. It's lovely to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It is an absolute pleasure to have you. How has your start to the season been with F1 Academy?
Well, I wish I could tell you it's been amazing, but it actually hasn't. So it's definitely been tough for me. Lots of things that were out of my control kind of messed up the beginning of the season. But we've still been working very hard behind the scenes, and I'm looking forward to the rounds to come.
And listen, Canada looked strong, right? A third and a fourth. So is that a sign of things improving after what you said, a bit of a tricky start to the season?
Yeah, I think it definitely will slowly get better, and Canada was one of those turnaround rounds. So it was a very fun and tricky track. So I'm excited to keep that momentum going through the rest of the season.
Even when it's tricky, right? Can you still enjoy it? Are you still enjoying the experience?
Absolutely. I mean, this experience, I wouldn't trade it for anything this year. All of the fun things I've gotten to do and the tracks I've gotten to race on with such an amazing team. It's just been, something I'll never forget.
Oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. Now, you speak to us. Those watching on YouTube will be able to see this in what looks like one of those posh tents you get at a wedding, but it looks absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous day. Tell
It
us where you're
is.
talking to us from and what you're about to do.
So I'm currently sitting in the drivers club at Goodwood. And today I get to drive the FW14B up the hill. I get to do it twice. So I think this will probably be the highlight of my year. It's very
This,
exciting.
right, this is incredible. The FW14B is a legendary Formula One car, right?
Legendary. Yes. It was the championship winning car in 1992 with Nigel Mansell, and actually he is doing a seat fit this afternoon and gets to drive it on Sunday. So I have to keep the car in one piece for him.
Please keep Nigel's car in one piece for Nigel. That's pressure, Leah. That's pressure.
Yes. And I've never driven the car before, so this will be my first time.
For those that don't know, just explain your F1 car experience because this is unique. You'll have never done anything quite like this before.
Yes, so last year I drove the FW08 here at Goodwood, but I had a test day at Silverstone before, so I got to learn the car and everything. This year, going straight into it, first time at Goodwood, and of course it's a historic F1 car, so lots of pressure, but also an amazing experience, and to get to drive another F1 car, I just really can't believe it.
It's incredibly exciting. We're going to look forward to seeing the pictures. We're going to check in with you to see how it went. Leah, you've not got long because you are about to go into engineering to drive said Formula One car, but we've just got some time to put some of our listeners' questions to you. Are you okay with this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right, loads asked us this one, loads and loads. So apologies, we haven't said any names. But how are you finding racing in single seaters compared to racing in rally?
Well, of course, it's very different. And coming over last year, switching from rally after winning the championship, it was a struggle. I mean, mentally as well to go back and start at the bottom and kind of relearn that everything that maybe the girls in F1 Academy have been doing for years. So, it's very different in the way you have to drive, the way you prepare for a weekend. But overall, I've had a lot of fun because it's been a huge challenge for me. But, I've had some success and it makes me want to keep doing more.
I'm sure we want you to keep doing more in it as well. Not that rallying isn't very cool. Now, this is an Instagram question from Lady of House Pounce is the username. I don't know what that means, but I enjoy the username. They ask a very challenging question. I think one of the cruelest questions we've ever put to a driver on the Fast and the Curious.
No.
Yeah, so bear with us. And we will have to push you for an answer. Who is your favourite, Alex or Carlos?
Really? That's the question.
That's the question.
That's a loaded question.
It's a mean question from Lady of House Pounce, isn't it?
Yeah, that is mean. Why do I have to choose?
Well, I haven't got an answer to why you have to choose.
Yeah. I mean, the simple answer is I haven't gotten to get to know Carlos very well. So I was able to, speak and get to know Alex a lot last year. So I guess I'm picking Alex right now.
I think you've nailed this because I think you've answered the question. Nobody's going to accuse you of ducking questions. It's a very solid and reasonable answer. I think you've absolutely nailed it there. You've not been caught out by this hard-hitting, Fast and the Curious journalism. Lucy Goosey asks, what's your favourite song to listen to before a race?
Favorite song? I would say right now it's anything Tate McRae. Any of her songs. They were
Nice.
Yes. She's got that vibe and really pumps me up. So I love it.
We had Ollie Behrman on recently who confessed his love of Taylor Swift, and that's now become a thing. That's everywhere. So you do have to be careful what you say about music on this podcast.
Well,
And who doesn't love Taylor Swift, right?
Yeah.
Ember Gunn asks, how has the Netflix series affected life in and out of the paddock? So we should say, for those that don't know, there is a Drive to Survive style Netflix series following you guys in F1 Academy now. What's that been like, Leah?
Well, obviously, it's a very odd thing to see your face on a Netflix show when you open the app, but it's been incredible. To be honest, the feedback from the show has been pretty awesome. And for people to see behind the scenes of, last year and what we really go through, and how much work goes into the racing, it's been really awesome. But I've had a couple times young girls come up to me and just say that I've seen you on the F1 Academy show, and I think it's so cool. And for me, that's what I'm seeing is the impact from it. And I just love that we are inspiring, the next generation.
And Leah, before we have to let you go, just finally, you mentioned the start of the season earlier. Some incredible tracks still to come. So F1 Academy still got to go to Zandvoort, Singapore, and Vegas. Another home race for you. Any you're particularly looking forward to?
I mean, I would say Vegas. That's the closest to my home I will ever race. So I'm very excited. And obviously, it's Vegas. Why not? You get to race on the strip and have maybe a great after party afterwards. So I'm excited for that.
What more could you wish for? Right, Leah, go and drive a fun Formula One car. We're very excited for you. Thanks for checking in with us, and we look forward to checking in with you later in the season.
Thank you.
I enjoyed speaking to Leah. I always speak to Leah. Apologies, it was very, very brief. She was at the Goodwood Festival of Speed about to drive things, so she was very, very busy. But we thought, listen, we've got her for 5 minutes. Let's have a quick chat. So thank you to Williams. Thank you to Leah. Leah's lovely. And, of course, done so well in F1 Academy, going from sort of her background of sort of off-road racing into circuit racing, which has been fantastic. And F1 Academy has just been a very, very entertaining watch this year. And I'd like... Good. Yeah, and we're hoping to do more with F1 Academy before the end of the season. I'm not going to say exactly what, because I'm a dreadful tease. But more F1 Academy stuff on the pod between now and those two final few races of the season, and we'll reflect on it. Oh, and I was about to say we'll reflect on F1 Academy on Sunday. I can't make that promise because I'm not on Sunday.
No, you're not joining me. But it's all right. We've got a good guest in your place.
Is it the only? I think it might be the only post-race show I'm missing of the season. So I'd like to apologise for that. I think that's right. I don't think I've missed another one.
I think you've missed one actually. I think there's one that me and Greg had to do.
Is that true? Have I missed one? I don't know.
Or maybe that was, I don't know.
No, there's been a preview. I missed a preview. Definitely missed a preview that you and Greg did because I listened to it when I was on my way back from Australia. I thought it was very good. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I'm not on Sunday because I am away for my boyfriend's birthday weekend. Yes, I was away for my birthday weekend last weekend.
So you just can't stop, can you?
Just whacking in the birthdays. But somebody who knows considerably more about Formula One and motor racing than me is replacing me. So it'll be a better standard of podcast without me, and that's Alex Brundle. So Alex Brundle will be here to debrief the race on Sunday. Very nice man, wonderful man. And we used to race against each other in karting, Betty.
Oh, well, fabulous. I'm glad you're not there as well, because I don't want to have to hear about that.
Guess who was better?
Probably him.
Definitely him, very much him. Yeah.
I mean,
I'll be back pre-Italy next week, and I'll be in Italy, so I'll report back on things like pasta.
Oh, do try and find Charles Leclerc's ice cream whilst you're out there. I've tried when I've been in Italy and I couldn't find it. So
right,
give it a go.
Can you remind me of this? I would love to do a taste test of Leclerc's ice cream. When I was in Australia, I did a taste test of Oscar Piastri's Grand's Lamington. That was lovely. Lovely Lamington. So I'll try and do that. Yeah, remind me. But yeah, enjoy the race. I'll be back next week.
Thank you so much for listening to The Fast and the Curious. Please remember to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and also subscribe on YouTube. Go and have a watch whilst you're at it. It's really important for us to hit that little subscribe button. Do it.
That was quite forceful,
now.
I would suggest. But yeah.
Well,
subscribe now, you bastards!
It wasn't quite like that. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you later.
Goodbye.